All right, I did the final update. I will link it below. This video are some of the witnesses that I am most looking forward to hearing about and the evidence brought forth in Karen Read's second trial. Hi, I'm FCA. I'm a law enthusiast. I'm a trial enthusiast. I love watching real trials. I've been invested in them since the Depp v. Heard trial, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. The law is fascinating, and getting to see how things work, run, and go in different states has also been very enlightening. And so I have been watching the Karen Read trial for a while. I've been following it for a long time, even before it was getting streamed. I was reading articles and stuff, and I tend to keep up with it quite a lot. It is the one that fascinates me the most. So the Karen Read trial is about a woman named Karen Read who has been accused of backing into her boyfriend while intoxicated, Officer John O'Keefe, and leaving him to die in the snow when there was a blizzard happening in late January in Canton, Massachusetts. So the trial is taking place again. The first trial was a hung trial, and so there were a good chunk of witnesses that happened there, and I am looking forward to seeing some of them again, not only because it was like good stuff, but because it was also entertaining, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. All right. So one of the first people I'm really interested in hearing the testimony from round 2 is former Trooper Proctor. I say former for those of you who don't know. I will link to the video below, but he was fired from his position after an internal affairs investigation occurred, finding him to be unprofessional and having such a high level of misconduct that they were like, you just can't do this anymore. He was the lead investigator on the Karen Read trial, or on the Karen Read case, pardon me. When your lead investigator is fired for doing their job so poorly and so improperly, I want to hear what he has to say. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the defense doesn't bring him or not. The defense will call him, and if the defense calls him, they will probably call him as a hostile witness. Hostile doesn't mean angry. It just means you get to cross-examine rather than direct examine that person. You're treating them as opposing, as opposed to on your team, even though you called them. So the defense will probably call him as a hostile witness if the prosecution doesn't call him. And I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing how the prosecution handles their lead investigator. Are they just going to, I think that they're going to double down and just throw him under the bus and blame him for everything and kind of just scapegoat with former Trooper Proctor. And that's where they're going to kind of rest their case. They're like, if you have any problems in this case, his fault. Not the rest of us' fault. She still did the thing. He was just bad too. I think that's the way that's going to go. So I look forward to hearing him, because it's going to be brought up. It is 100% going to be brought up. Were you dismissed for your conduct as the lead investigator in this case? So it's going to be brought up. And that's going to be, that would be big for me. If I was a juror and somebody, and the people were like, yeah, this is the lead investigator. He effed up so badly, he got fired from the position. So I'm looking forward to that. The next person I'm really looking forward to hearing from is Jen McCabe. Jen McCabe was the most fiery of the people. She was shooting back. She was aggressive. She was defensive. And it made for good entertainment, but I don't think it did anyone any good. Now, I had made a statement in my playing devil's advocate for Karen Read that maybe she's just trying to protect her family. She just went mama bear. But I also think that she is as crazy as that person down there with the peaches. I don't know what that was. Anyway, Jen McCabe was already a really intense witness. So I'm going to see if she intensifies, if she goes even more in this one, or if she tries to be more reserved, because maybe the backlash that came at her, because she got a lot of it. She got a lot of it from me. If she's going to try to calm the fires just by being Yeah, okay, yeah, that happened. I don't know. I left all my tabs open. I was mad that my daughter was getting attacked. Okay? So I'm looking forward to seeing how much her demeanor changes, especially with particular questions getting asked. And I'm going to see if the line of questioning is significantly changed, or if Alan Jackson is going to go at her again. That was another thing. I think that if Attorney Little had been the one to do that interaction, and I'm not in charge, I don't know how they broke up their witnesses, but if she had been the one been allowed to ask, I wonder if that interaction would have been more chill to begin with. Miss Little just isn't as Jackson is. So we're going to see about that. I really look forward to that. Like I said, she is a key witness. She is one of the defense's biggest grabs that they want. She's an important witness, and I really look forward to seeing her testimony and seeing how the changes are there. I also really look forward to Brian Higgins. Brian Higgins is one of the people who is going to be used as a third-party culprit. The motivation being that he was mad at John O'Keefe getting back with Karen Read when him and Karen Read were trying to get back together with, once again, I'm never going to stop saying it, some of the world's cringiest flirts text messages ever. Oh man, change your game. But his testimony was some of the most socially sad, because he said that, yeah, he got a new phone and he didn't keep anything. And it was like, you didn't want to keep any of your pictures, any of your videos, contacts. And he's like, I don't have that many contacts. It's nobody that I don't see in real life that I couldn't get their number again. And I only had a few pictures of drinks that I thought were cool looking. When the most valuable pictures on your phone were some cocktail drinks, my man, there's a world out there. Go find it. But it was very kind of just, oh, all right. But him having this motivation is very interesting. He was present at the home, and he is one of the central figures around the third-party culprit argument. And because he is on the officer's team, shall we say, he's a law officer too, it's going to be very fascinating to see his involvement in cover-up and his directives that he took with that. And I'm really excited to see if Alan Jackson really hammers into him the whole, you threw your phone into a military dumpster because you know it couldn't be searched, and that he misused FBI connections to clean his phone and then threw it away. He didn't want anything on his phone found. Allegedly. The next ones are all expert witnesses. I can't wait to hear from Dr. Gilbert. She is the new expert who was allowed to be brought on to discuss if John O'Keefe's injuries on his arm were dog bite wounds or not. She is for the defense. She's arguing that they are dog bite wounds. And I'm looking forward to the ARCA experts. And because they have an extended opinion that they're allowed to make now, because they are rebuttal witnesses as well as their own forward witnesses, I look forward to hearing about more of their investigation, any new findings that they had, and just, I can't wait to hear from them again. They were intelligible but charming, and so getting to hear from them again is going to be a treat, and I really look forward to hearing their medical opinions, because they were really restricted in the first trial on not being allowed to make stuff. They were allowed to say, well, this is what we did for the investigation. Here were our basic findings. They weren't allowed and had to steer clear of saying, yeah, his injuries couldn't have been caused by a car or blah, blah, blah. They were allowed to say, we didn't conclude what they concluded. And they had to say it very sensitively. So I'm looking forward to hearing all of that. Those are my witnesses that I look forward to hearing. Tell me who you look forward to hearing the most in this trial, and I will talk to you during trial. Let's go.